Hello there. I'm Scotty, and you're not. And we are continuing Tubi Horror Weekend 4. We are on a movie from 1988, 1 year after I was born. It's called Hobgoblins. It was set during that time where Gremlins was popular, and it made all these other movies like Troll and Munchies and Ghoulies, stuff like that. They put out a bunch of those because it was that time, you know. And we have Hobgoblins, the story of an alien species who landed on Earth several years before this, was found by a security guard and locked him in a vault. Now he has to make sure they don't get out, because if they do, they cause people to live out their fantasies in which they die in those fantasies. So, yes. And the first big problem I have with this, when they start to explain the plot, was, so he explains to the main character, Kevin, they landed on Earth right in front of him and he locked him in a vault. Now, the vault is owned by this guy who doesn't believe a word that he says. So how are they still locked up? You think if he had did a raid about him, the guy would go in there, open it up. They would have gotten out and he would know about them. If you didn't believe in them, why would, I don't know. You think he'd get fed up and just, open it? I don't know. But we see him with the security guard, the other security guard at the beginning of this. The guy has a dream that he's a rock star, although he doesn't sing a thing, and then he takes a bad stage dive and he dies. Next we have Kevin, and he tells Kevin not to go in there, so he doesn't. And then we meet Kevin's friends. His girlfriend, who seems like she's a repressed person, like she talks all like she's sweet and innocent, but she has like desires, we find out later. His friend Nick, who's coming home from war, basic training, I don't know, and meets up with his girlfriend who's already there. His other friend, who keeps calling sex phone lines. For some reason, Kevin just hasn't caught on to it, even though the calls keep being made from his house, and he keeps having to call the phone company, telling them that the phone calls weren't made, and you think the phone company would tell him, well, actually, they were made. We have proof they were made from your home. So, I don't know. But that's a running gag in this. The comedy is, I want to say hit or miss, but there's a lot of missing. It just doesn't, I don't know. Anyway, there's this robber that shows up, and they chase him into where the vault is. He opens the vault, and the hobgoblins are released. The problem with this is at the end, it's revealed that this robber is one of the hobgoblins. So, and the only thing I can think of is when the first security guard opens it up, one gets out, but the rest are stuck in there for some reason. And then he can't open the vault because he's too small, so he tricks them, I guess. But yeah, they get out and they start causing problems. Fantasy killing or whatever. And it starts with the guy who's on the phone sex number, and they make him believe that the phone sex lady is actually there, and they're going to go out to Reputation Point, I think it's called. And they get there, and she tries to push his car over the thing, but Kevin shows up to save him, and the car goes over anyway, but they defeat that hobgoblin and go back to the house. And his girlfriend's gone missing. His girlfriend is looking at an ad for a place called Club Scum, because, like I said, she has those deep desires that she doesn't tell anyone. So they go to Club Scum, and they get in after saying they're looking for one of their friends. Like, they bring out this dance lady that's not her to go in. They don't check their IDs, and then when they're in there, they say, oh, there's a 2-drink minimum there. We're underage. And they tell the bouncer guy to come over and say, hey, they're underage. They say, hey, you want a fake ID? How the fuck does that work? Because, like, they give you the fake ID. Then you have to use it to them, who just gave you the fake ID. Wouldn't it be easier if they just gave you the drinks anyway? We're like, oh, we're underage. That doesn't matter here. We don't tell anyone. would it make more sense? Fake IDs. I guess the fake IDs are if like someone of appropriate authority comes in. They can say, "Oh, they have IDs," but I don't know. This really doesn't make too much sense. What else doesn't make any sense is that they're looking for their friend, the guy Kevin's girlfriend. They get there and they sit and they watch this performance. This guy sings the entire song while he's on stage, and they just sit there. And the camera shots in this, a couple of them just don't make sense. The first shot of this is just a static shot, straight on from far away of the building, and they just linger on it when stuff happens in front of it. And here, again, they just sit there with the static shot right on them, and a straight shot on them as the song performs. And we listen to the whole song because they needed to pad out this runtime, apparently. Then the Hobgoblins show up and start causing problems. They make Nick see his superior officer, and before you guys start wagging your fingers saying, no, he was real, no, he's not. According to Wikipedia, it's a hobgoblin. I don't care what Phalis said in his review that's years and years and years old. He probably realizes his mistake. I never watched it again. But it is a hobgoblin. It has to be. It's too much of a coincidence, although this movie doesn't make any sense anyway, that his superior officer would show up and then tell him to start throwing bombs, ends up killing him anyway. Apparently it's his fantasy to be back in the war. I don't know. But yeah, he's a hobgoblin. And the hobgoblin makes the MC, who's played by Darren Norris of Ned's Declassified, Gordy from Ned's Declassified, and Cosmo from Fairly Odd Parents. Yeah, that's him. And he makes out with the dance lady until one of the guys, I think it's the horny guy, knocks it down with a beer bottle, and they snap out of it. I guess she starts attacking. Gets the beer bottle from him and starts attacking the MC guy. I don't know. But Nick blows the fuck out of the place, and so they get out of there. They go back to the vault where the security guard, who is so worried about them getting out, has been just sitting there all night, does not help them for any reason other than they wanted to focus on these characters and not him, even though he keeps telling them it's very, very bad and he locked them in there to begin with. No, he stays there at the place. I mean, I guess it's because someone has to watch the building, but what is the building for? They go back to the building. Nick's supposedly dead, and they get there, and the hobgoblins get locked back in the safe, and then the security guard McCready reveals that he has bombs placed. When did he get those? Why didn't he do it earlier? Blowing them up, ending it all, and it looks like our horny man the horny guy is about to get laid with the girl, Nick's girlfriend, Nick's dad. No, Nick shows up, so Nick's still alive, and I don't know. This movie didn't do anything for me at all. I thought it'd be at least be so bad it's good. People say, "Oh, it's so bad it's good," but it's just meh to me. Like, yeah, they established rules and it's very goofy, but it's lackluster. At least with Night Killer, there was some entertainment to it, and there's just so much of the what the fuck spectrum, where here it's just nah, to me, nah. So when it comes to Hobgoblins, I'm just gonna say it's not worth your time. Can't really say much else. It just really didn't do anything for me. Not worth your time. So what are your thoughts on Hobgoblins? I know comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.